Hey, we're back out here at the set of compost bins that I initially used for kitchen waste and for composting the waste at my old store. All right, let's go ahead and try this one. Yeah, that's easy enough. Okay, let's see if this one will come out. Nice. See if I can get this off of here. Oh, easy. Cool, so the front came off. That was easy. Use screws instead of a nail that I put in too hard on that other one. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, that nail didn't want to come out. So that makes this a lot easier. You can see kind of the strata here. This was when my partner Tyler is a shipwright machinist, and he was doing shipwrighting more at that time. And so he was using a lot of boards. And what they do to make the boards, to control the thickness of the boards, they'll run the board through what's called a planer, and it chips off these little flakes. So I used that, in the compost you want the greens and browns, and so I had vegetable waste, so I used this for the browns. It doesn't break down very quickly. I mean, this is the outside, so obviously it's not going to break down, but in the interior of the compost even, it's slow to break down. So when he started doing more machining, and there wasn't as much in the way of planer shavings, then I went to the hardware store and bought these compact bales of straw. I want to put this finished compost inside here onto my raspberry beds. Cool. It's empty. And today I want to clear out this one on the right hand side. This front partial pallet is held on by nails on this one. It's freezing out. The sun came out, but that means that the sky is clear and it's freezing. Last week I tried to transplant soil mix, and that compost was so wet. I spread it out thinking it would dry out. What was I thinking? The sun doesn't even come up over the trees. It does not even hit this piece of property this time of year. Okay, get some movement there. There we go. Okay, we're going to try on this side. Boy, this makes for some interesting video. Oh, I can't get more boring than pulling nails out. There we go. Okay, I'm going to see if I've got any more fasteners here. This thing will just come right off. Came right off. I have to start doing an archaeological dig here. Okay, so now we've gotten into some compost, and I'm just going to start taking the buckets up to the wheelbarrow. It's cold. Okay, all done. That's all empty now. The center one is the one that I emptied before. And I threw all the uncomposted stuff that was on the top and the sides of each of those bins into this bin here. I'm realizing that I should have been throwing all the uncomposted material into that far bin over there. Let's wander over there. I was actually using this bin this year, so I could have thrown all that uncomposted material just on top of here. But I was only thinking about that at the very end of this project. And if I was a sick individual, I would move all of that stuff into that other bin and tear these things down. Anyway, it's nice to have that all out of there. We got a little bit of frosty pumpkins last night. The swamp didn't freeze. I want to take you over here, back to what is going to be, or the plan is to be, our berry patch. So this is kind of, in some ways, shows you the stages of what I did here. I actually had to clear this whole area out. There's just a bunch of little small trees and blueberry bushes and false azaleas. And I just had a bunch of tree limbs and logs from when we took down some trees in this area, in the garden area. And so I've got them, I just went ahead and piled up the brush and then took the bigger logs and threw them on top of the brush. And then from the soil pile that I have over by the compost bins, I took a wheelbarrow and brought a bunch of soil over and just dumped it on top. I've just started dumping soil on top of this section here. And then the compost that I pulled from the old pallet composting bins, I put on top the last few days here. And I've had a tarp over the top of these because, you know, it's been raining a lot and I didn't want it to rain the soil down through here. So again, can't really differentiate anymore because everything is all frosty, but there's soil and then a little bit of compost on top here. And I'll pull back those tarps when we get a forecast for rain again. So I guess technically this is a hugelkultur. And what it does is it's a place to put some waste branches and logs, and also a way to keep the raspberry, blueberry, or whatever other berries we have here, keep its toes out of the damp soil. There was a fellow in town who was going to give us some of his raspberries, local raspberries, but he actually passed away, so we'll have to rethink that.